Welcome to Shadow of History, your destination for mysterious, dark, and untold stories from world history. In today's journey, we explore the first great conspiracy in history, the assassination of Julius Caesar. This pivotal event changed the course of Roman history and set the stage for the end of the Roman Republic. But who were the masterminds behind this assassination, and what drove them to take such drastic action? Let's uncover the intrigue, betrayal, and political maneuvering that led to the death of one of history's most influential figures. In 44 BCE, Julius Caesar stood at the height of his power. Having conquered Gaul and expanded the Roman Empire, he had amassed unmatched military and political influence. As dictator perpetuo, Caesar had effectively become the ruler of Rome, bypassing the traditional republican system of checks and balances. He reformed the calendar, distributed land to veterans, and centralized power, all of which were viewed by many as acts of tyranny. Despite his achievements, Caesar's growing power alarmed many in the Senate, where a sense of republicanism still lingered. To some, Caesar's reforms were seen as a direct threat to the ideals of the Roman Republic, a system where power was meant to be shared among the Senate, magistrates, and the people. Caesar's enemies feared that he might declare himself king, a title that Romans had long despised after the fall of the monarchy centuries earlier. This fear gave rise to a conspiracy within the Senate. A group of senators, including some of Caesar's closest allies, began to plot his murder. They saw themselves as protectors of the Roman Republic, willing to sacrifice the life of one man to save the system that had sustained Rome for centuries. Among the conspirators were some surprising names, including Gaius Cassius Longinus, Marcus Junius Brutus, and Decimus Brutus, all of whom had once enjoyed Caesar's trust and favor. But why would Brutus, Caesar's confidant and rumored illegitimate son, participate in such a deadly plot against the man who had shown him such loyalty? Some historians have argued that Brutus was motivated by a deep sense of republicanism, while others suggest that he was influenced by the conspirators' persuasion and his own growing doubts about Caesar's intentions. Regardless of his motivations, Brutus would become one of the most infamous figures in history, caught in a web of loyalty and betrayal. The plot against Caesar was not a sudden decision, but a culmination of mounting tensions. For months, the conspirators met in secret, carefully planning the details of the assassination. They knew that Caesar's death would be a momentous event, one that would spark turmoil and potentially endanger their own lives. The risk was immense, but so too was the opportunity. The final plan was set for the Ides of March, March 15, 44 BCE. Caesar was scheduled to appear at a Senate meeting at the Theater of Pompey. The conspirators knew that this would be their chance to strike. Armed with daggers, they would surround Caesar and take him down in a brutal, coordinated attack. The timing was perfect. Caesar had been warned about the plot several times, including by a soothsayer who famously told him, "Beware the Ides of March." But Caesar, confident in his own power, paid little attention to these warnings. On that fateful day, Caesar entered the Senate, seemingly unaware of the danger lurking around him. As he took his seat, the conspirators closed in. Led by Brutus and Cassius, they surrounded Caesar, striking him one by one. The attack was swift and savage. According to historical accounts, Caesar was stabbed 23 times. As he lay bleeding on the Senate floor, it's said that his final words were to Brutus, "Et tu, Brutus?" And you, Brutus? These words have echoed through history, symbolizing the ultimate betrayal. The assassination of Julius Caesar sent shockwaves through Rome. While the conspirators believed they were saving the Republic, their actions would ultimately have the opposite effect. The death of Caesar led not to a restoration of the Roman Republic, but to the end of it. The power vacuum created by Caesar's assassination plunged Rome into a series of civil wars, ultimately leading to the rise of Caesar's grandnephew, Octavian, who would later become Augustus, the first Roman emperor. The consequences of Caesar's assassination were far-reaching. Rather than restore the Republic, it paved the way for the Roman Empire, a shift that would forever alter the course of history. The conspirators, in their quest to save the Republic, inadvertently sealed its fate. For Brutus and the other conspirators, their actions came at a great cost. Despite their initial belief that they had done the right thing, they soon realized that they had miscalculated. The Roman people, who had once loved Caesar for his military successes and reforms, were not easily swayed by the conspirators' claims of saving the Republic. Public opinion turned against the assassins, and many of them were eventually hunted down and killed. The legacy of the assassination of Julius Caesar is one of both tragedy and irony. The men who thought they were preserving the Republic became the very architects of its destruction. In the end, the murder of Caesar did not bring peace to Rome. It brought chaos and civil war. The dreams of the conspirators were dashed, and their actions only hastened the rise of autocracy in the Roman world. The assassination of Julius Caesar remains one of the most significant events in world history. It was a moment of profound betrayal, political calculation, and historical consequence. Caesar's death marked the end of an era and the beginning of another, one in which Rome would never be the same. The story of his assassination is not just the tale of one man's murder, it is the story of the death of a republic and the birth of an empire. Thank you for joining us on this dark journey into the shadows of history. If you found the story of Julius Caesar's assassination intriguing, please like this video, share it with fellow history enthusiasts, and subscribe to Shadow of History for more mysterious, dark, and untold stories from the past. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on the conspiracy against Caesar. Do you believe the conspirators acted in the best interest of Rome, or did they set in motion events that they could not control? Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll uncover another captivating chapter in the history of forgotten and mysterious events. Until then, keep seeking the untold stories of the past, and remember, history is full of shadows waiting to be discovered.